Welcome. This edition of Kurukshetra actually focuses on rural development, the rural tourism, festivals, and vocal for local. So let's begin with the very first idea of eco-friendly tourism. Now, the local areas in the rural vicinity have been preserving the natural area environment to support the local community and bring in tourism. So this eco-tourism aligns for nearly $19.8 billion industry in India, and this is to maintain the biodiversity, cultural richness. So, government released a policy which is known as the National Strategy for Ecotourism 2022, which actually aims to promote the fragile ecosystem areas, bring in eco certification guidelines, community involvement, promotion, and institutional framework. So there have been two major schemes. One is Swadesh Darshan, and there have been nearly 76 tourism infrastructure which have been approved under this. And now this Swadesh Darshan 2.0 has been revamped. And then the next is the Prashad scheme for pilgrimage rejuvenation, and this intersects with eco spirituality. So more than 56 institutes of hotel management, 13 food craft institute, and 4,000 trained personals are working together through campaigns like Dekho Apna Desh to promote responsible tourism. So, ecotourism, specifically in the rural areas, bring in inclusive generative tourism and is really important, right? So, the next one that we would go on to is the statistics on ecotourism. So we already talked about the expected market value. This projection is approximately estimated to go up to nearly $50 billion by 2033, and would have economic impact on the rural community with increase in the annual income by nearly 35 to 60%. In Kerala, more than 18,000 women have run their micro enterprises, which have gained significant impact, and there has been a 30% decline in youth outmigration in Konama in Nagaland itself. Now, employment generation nearly 13% of the total jobs, with nearly 42 million people being supported. Mayanlong is one such case study where 60% increase in the household income has been seen. It is driven by zero waste tourism and homestays which are available, but some of the challenges include over commercialization, poor carrying capacity, climate change, and greenwashing, where eco labels are there but they are without any sustainable practices. The next is the homestay revolution in India. Now, the new vision for tourism for authentic community based experiences talks about the homestays. So, it includes the economic impact, cultural impact, and infrastructural solution, which are mainly women led activities with more of local infrastructural development, but they do have challenges. For example, there is fragmented regulations which exist, there is inconsistent licensing, inadequate digital adoption, no proper training, delays in subsidies. And then the next one is a path which has been led by Niti Aayog, which talks about a simple governance, a single window clearance with simplified norms and clear recognition. Capacity building talks about targeting the training, financial support, and digital integration. And 2047 vision focuses on renewing the heritage, bringing in sustainable tourism and entrepreneurship. To boost the livelihood, there have been nearly 130 plus domestic tourists who have visited different parts, with more than 2 crore international arrivals, which contribute to nearly 5% of increase in the GDP. Now, some of the major pillars of tourism include medical tourism, destination weddings, yoga therapies, and homestays. And of these, there has been case study, for example, the Prayag Kumbh Mela, which brought in a lot of logistics and economic opportunity for the local people. So government initiatives focuses on developing nearly 50 top tourist destinations. Parv Paryatan Mitra and Paryatan Setu as some of those. Then there is a Nidhi database and Mudra loans to be given with e-visa applications and skill building, and simpler rules for homestay regulations. The next, in the case of rural tourism, there has been a great focus by the center and the state government to maintain quality affordable housing and to meet the ecological carrying capacity with better marketing and access to schemes by human resource ministry and ministry the various ministries. So the idea is the export services can boost, there can be labor intensive sectors which can have growth opportunity, for example tourism. The next is Vibrant Village program, which talks about building secure, sustainable borders where there could be authentic cultural traditions, bringing in inadequate roads, repairing the electricity connections, having limited production promotions which exist, and low tourism awareness. So these are some of the areas where the Vibrant Village program would work, with a core area of bringing in developments in road, power, telecom, and most of this would focus on cultural tourism, ecotourism, apart on adventure tourism, while a very slight focus on wellness tourism so far. Some of the major areas include organizing fairs and festivals, traditional craft, local entrepreneurship, and there are some of the important pillars of Vibrant Village program, which includes better infrastructure and better livelihood with reduced outmigration, developing a vibrant tourism and a stable employment opportunity for the rural areas. So under this, regions from the last village into the nation's first village is the idea. So the initial phase covers nearly 663 villages with major focus on Arunachal Pradesh, a significant focus on Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Ladakh region, and there would be development projects which would be released across this with better road connectivity, better sectoral development, on-grid electrification, 4G access. This program would be enhanced. So with this, the villages would turn out vibrant and would be the centers for homestays. Some of the unique examples and spotlight villages under the Vibrant Village program includes the Konthong in Meghalaya, which is called as the Whistling Village. The next is Konama in Nagaland, which is called as India's first green village, where the Angami architecture can be preserved. Turtuk in Ladakh, which is situated on the Shiok River, and that focuses on the Balti heritage. Mainlong in Meghalaya, which is considered as Asia's cleanest village, and Chatpal in Jammu Kashmir, which is considered as an untouched place and heaven on earth. So those are some of the spotlight villages that we have identified under the Vibrant Village program. There would be nearly 663 such villages which would be developed, and 8 categories under which the winners would be recognized under the 2024 competition, and every year the same would happen. So these are the categories as adventure, agri-tourism, craft, heritage, spiritual, vibrant, responsible, and community development. The next important thing is the medical tourism. So medical tourism is basically a curative tourism. However, wellness tourism is a preventive tourism. So people coming in for, let's say, bypass surgeries, joint replacement, cosmetic surgery would all fall under medical tourism. Those coming for Ayush therapies, Ayurveda, Yoga, naturopathy, Siddha, homeopathy, Unani would come under the wellness tourism. So medical tourism includes surgical and clinical intervention. Of the total, India has a worth of nearly $9 billion for medical tourism market value, ranks 10th in medical tourism index, with more than 6 lakh medical tourists arriving in India in 2024, and Bangladesh is one of the leading sources from where most of the tourists come in, followed by Iraq, Somalia, Oman, and Uzbekistan. The cost is affordable, and hence a lot of tourists coming in for medical purposes. Then we have internationally accredited hospital and skilled medical professionals, and better accessibility and time flexibility that could be provided. The next is tourism is a source to preserve culture. So in the past there was traditions which had which were facing the risk of modernization. However, with mindful tourism, we are trying to create a bridge for sustainability with better livelihood. So there are schemes like Swadesh Darshan 2.0, which we already talked about. Then PM Vishwakarma, which focuses on financial support for 18 traditional craft, Life Initiative for responsible, sustainable tourism practices, and then living galleries, conservation, ecological conservation, inclusion inclusion livelihood, for example, in Kutch area is one such example. So if we look onto the women contribution, the economic empowerment for women and cultural preservation role has gone up. For tribal community, it's mainly the leadership role which has seen a significant the cultural preservation, and for artisans it is mainly preserving the heritage, right? So there has been a deep investment in human capital through thinking, through digital literacy, through confidence building, and these areas which have developed can convert into better tourist opportunities. So villages are considered as living archives, be it culture, history, or folklores. They act as a narrative bridge and do a significant impact onto the soul and livelihood, bringing in the idea of Viksit Bharat 2047. Now, cultural preservation, sustainable livelihood, empowerment, and better engagement is the idea. Some of the major examples where tourism thrives on local character includes Raghurajpur in Odisha, which is known for preserving its architectural and artistic heritage. Sarmoli in Uttarakhand and the Kutch area, where women-led tourism has been very important. Now, government alignments, ethical digitization, and skill training have also been an important part of it. The next one that we would focus on is agro-tourism. Now, agro-tourism again focuses on agricultural foundation. India emerged as the fourth largest economy by 2025, and agriculture remains a vital pillar which contributes to nearly 17.8% of the GDP, and nearly 45% population engaged in one way or the other into agriculture. The agro-tourism market is expected to rise significantly from $1 billion to nearly $5 billion by 2032. And there are potential pillars which include 15 agroclimatic zones, diverse cropping patterns, rich heritage. Some of the key leading states include Maharashtra, Sikkim, Kerala, Punjab, Assam, and Nagaland. So, strengthening the rural community through income diversification, cultural preservation, environment, rejuvenation, women empowerment are some of the basic ideas for agricultural tourism. Okay, the next one is the concept which is related to the rural tourism, and this focuses on the natural beauty, improved access, government initiatives, and a better unified framework with more than 220 tribal groups working together. And the rural connectivity has increased significantly, which has led to rural tourist arrivals from 100k to nearly 600k in 2024. So in the past one decade, there has been a significant rise in rural tourist arrivals. If we do a comparative study of the profiles of Assam, Majuli, and Nagaland, we say in Nagaland it's mainly the cultural heritage, art and craft that people wish to go for. In Assam it is mainly the spiritual element and the cultural heritage, and in Meghalaya it is mostly the ecotourism and the adventure programs that are popular. So the growth in the local livelihood has been significantly up for handicraft industries, for registered homestays, and also for skill development graduates. There have been government policies, better skill programs for youth, and Sikkim's preservation's first model has been a very important model to minimize the impact of construction, restricted tourist access, and prioritizing homestays. So a typical mass tourism, if we look for, and if we look for Sikkim, we would see it's highly based on environmental focus and thus focuses on a sustainable development. Again, rural festivals are one of the things which have led to significant boom in the rural tourism, be it the Prashad scheme, Swadesh Darshan, or Utsav scheme, where through the digital program, all the festivals and events are of the globe are visible to the audience. There have been numerous destinations which have been sanctioned, and some of the important festivals which people go for include Hornbill Festival in Nagaland. Now this is called as Festival of Festivals, which has seen exponential growth in the economic boost as well. The next is Surajkund International Craft Fair in Haryana. This has seen increase in sponsorship as well as profit. So definitely with better rural festivals being organized with technology integration and capacity building, there can be a future growth potential for the festivals. And the last one is Vocal for Local initiative under Atmanirbhar Bharat to create employment, preserve heritage, and boost manufacturing, that focuses on policy support, digital ecosystem, and public engagement, mainly through better procurement, better artisan support, and Sfurti project, which focuses on cluster development. So if we look onto the growth for the GEM, which is the government e-marketplace, there has been a significant rise from 2022 to nearly 2 billion platform adoptions that have been seen. And for ONDC, which is the Open Network for Digital Commerce, again rising from 1.5 to nearly 5, which is a significant development. Now, Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprise has been developed, which provides collateral free loans. And again, if we look onto digital campaigns and celebrity endorsements, we have seen the impact for celebrity endorsement is mainly for having a trust onto the brand or having a boost in the sales or public awareness. However, for digital campaigns, it work well with youth engagement and public awareness. So those are some of the things that we have gone for, and this was a very, very important edition of Kurukshetra. Of course, Yojana and Kurukshetra summary are covered regularly on the channel, so stay subscribed. Thanks for joining.